Welcome to Health Club with Julia. I'm your host, health coach, and registered dietitian, Julia Campagna. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between looking your best and living your life to the fullest. After years of over dieting, struggling with disordered eating, and destroying my social life, I finally found how to reach my dream physique without sacrificing the things I love. Now I'm sharing all my strategies and education with you. We'll be talking all things health, including hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle to help you cut out the confusion and start living. So get cozy and join the club. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. As always, I am so happy you are here. I am super excited. Today we have a very, very special guest, Kim, who is my client. And God, it's been a year, just over a year. I think you just messaged me that like last week, actually. Like it's officially been a year of you being a client of mine, which is really cool, really awesome. And we've just, I feel like, grown so much together. Like I feel like I know like your whole life story, which is great. I don't know about like other coaches, but I like to get to know my clients, and I feel like I've just like we're besties now. Um, but in all honesty, like reality, your journey has been a lot. You've been through a lot. Seeing where you are now compared to where you were when you first started is crazy to think back and look at that. And you've just transformed so much over this past year in a lot of different areas, not just like one specific area. And so I'm bringing Kim on today to kind of just talk about her story, talk about her transformation, where she was at, where she's at now, and just to help give you guys a little glimpse into coaching and what it's like coaching with me from somebody who is currently going through it and has seen a lot of change, like I said, in a lot of different areas. So I want to just dive right into some questions and kind of take you through her journey. So let's start off with that. So Kim, can you explain where you were at before starting with me? Like what was going on before you got to the point of working with me?
Yeah, so I feel like before, the way I was feeling was I was feeling like that for like years on end. And it didn't start until probably like 2019 is when I started feeling like the worst I have ever felt. Um, I mean, obviously, like growing up, I didn't have like the healthiest relationship with food. I didn't work out, like none of that. And then it wasn't till like 2017 when I got on like the Mirena. But before that, I did have normal periods. My PMS was really bad. And obviously, I thought it was just like normal because like all my friends had like horrible PMS as well. Um, and then in 2019, my PMS symptoms were so bad. Like I couldn't get out of bed. My breasts were like sore for weeks on end. I was super fatigued. Just like I would get like random pains like in my body, and like I knew it like all linked to my period. So then finally in 2020, I got my Mirena taken out. And again, like I was going to like the doctors, I was going to gynecologists, I was going to my primary doctors. They are running tests on me. And they were basically telling me like everything's fine. My labs are fine. They recommended, I think one time I was recommended antidepressants, and then one time I was also recommended, I think like testosterone or like some sort of hormone. And I declined them because I just knew like that's not what I wanted to do. Like I knew like how I felt and like how I needed to fix that. So I started going to like a holistic doctor, which was helping. I went to like another dietitian. Like I was trying to find things that worked for me, and it just seemed like none of it was working. Like I felt like I was putting like my all into like trying to heal and trying to get healthy, and nothing was working. Still wasn't getting periods. I was getting them like maybe once every 3 months. I was still like getting really fatigued. My workouts weren't how they are now. Like I was trying to do like all these hit workouts to lose weight and to like feel better, but nothing compared to like what I'm doing now. And I think like when you had reached out to me, I started doing I started doing more like yoga based classes because like my body just couldn't handle working out hard. So that's just a little bit of my story.
Yeah. And I first want to commend you for being an advocate for yourself. So that's like the first point with that whole situation that you had just mentioned. Like they were prescribing you things and you were like, no, I don't want to do that. And you knew that something was going on a deeper level. And you were just trying to find that root cause by going to the holistic doctor and going to the dietitian that you saw previously, just trying to figure it out without just saying, yes, give me all of these medications that you want to put me on. And it's, this is why, like in previous episodes too, I've like mentioned just being an advocate for yourself with doctors because you had said, your doctors took labs, everything was fine, but you weren't getting a period. And your PMS was so bad before, even like at the very beginning when we started working together, it was still really bad. And we were like, okay, this is crazy. Like you said, you couldn't get out of bed. You had a lot of pain with your breasts and just like a lot of different PMS symptoms. And when I took a look at your labs way back when, I think this was even before we started working together when we were
Yeah.
just like talking. You sent me labs and like we weren't working together, but I was like, let me just see them. I want to look at what's going on. And things were definitely not normal. And this is why I always well, talk about it like on my podcast. And I always have my clients give me labs because sometimes they're within a quote unquote normal range, but they're not in an optimal or functional range that someone like me or a holistic doctor or someone else could see like, okay, they're quote unquote normal, but they're not actually optimal. And I felt like that was what was happening for you. And actually, your progesterone was pretty low, your estrogen was high. You had things going on that were like, okay, why are your doctors not talking about this? Which
Mhm.
is upsetting, but happens so often. Like, the amount of times that this happens to people is way more than not. So I don't know the actual statistic on that, but just like by talking with women, I know that this happens very, very often. And yeah, you were just like at a low point. I remember when I was first talking to you again, like going through labs with you and like just talking about your situation before you even joined coaching. I could feel that with the way that you were talking. Like you were just like, I don't know what to do, but this is miserable, basically, and just like hated it.
Yeah.
Um, and so that led us to the present and getting us to start this journey together, and then all the work that we've done to heal so far. Um, so that kind of does segment into this next question that I have is we've gone through now a year of coaching together. What results have you seen over the past year that you want to talk about? That could be, like I said, you've transformed in a lot of different ways. So what are some of the ways that you feel you've transformed?
I think more so like signing up with you, my first thought and my first priority was I just want to lose weight. Like, yeah, maybe once I start losing weight, like I'll get my period back. Like that was like my first priority. But I think like just doing this journey with you, it wasn't about the weight loss. It was about like getting healthy and getting my periods back and ultimately like changing my lifestyle. Like I never knew like my effect or like how my lifestyle was affecting like me just getting out of bed. Like there's so many little things that I had to change in my life which I never knew like that would be a thing. Like just focusing on getting better sleep and, getting up in the morning and having a routine set. Like I never had a routine. Like I live for my routines now. Like I get up early just so I could, get up and start my day. Um, so I feel like for me, I think that was the thing. It was more so the little things that counted. And it wasn't focusing on the weight loss and it wasn't focusing on like my workouts. And I always thought like my workouts had to be like super hard and super intense until like I started working out with you and you were like, no, you're only gonna work out 3 days a week and you're gonna weight lift. And I was kind of like skeptical at first because in my head, I thought I had to go as hard as I could, and my body just couldn't handle that. I remember when you reached out to me and I was doing like the yoga. I was doing the yoga, like the fast-paced yoga, and my body couldn't even handle that. And I thought like, okay, if I'm not like dripping sweat and like tired, it's not going to do anything for me. And then when I started doing your workouts, like I just felt so much better.
Yeah. And that's also a very common thing too. So also like disclaimer for people who are listening, I didn't mention this in my intro, but the like goal for Kim when we first started, like she said, she wanted to lose weight, but for me as a coach and eventually, Kim was very much on board with just hormonal balance, getting her period, getting it regular. That was like the ultimate goal for her. So that side note, for anybody who's listening and is like, what's going on? We were working on balancing our hormones pretty much as like the main goal that we had together. But a lot of women who want to lose weight and have some hormonal imbalance going on, one, they probably don't know that they have that going on, or they might have a hunch, but they're like just doing anything to lose that weight because they're like, I just want to look good, feel good, and that's their goal. And that's where a lot of people get tripped up. Like you were saying, you were doing a lot of HIIT classes and just a lot of high intensity stuff before working with me, and your body couldn't handle that. And that is not conducive for the goal that we had, which was balancing hormones and regaining your cycle and making it regular. And so we did take a giant step back. And I again commend you for just putting your trust in me as your coach and saying, like, nope, we're gonna pump the brakes on this a little bit. And that can be scary as a client, being like, okay, this is my goal. I want to lose weight. This is what I want. And I'm basically saying no.
Mhm.
But from a coaching standpoint, it is my job to make sure that your body is functioning as optimally as possible. And it wasn't at the time when we were starting to work together. It really was not. And so that is an indicator to me that we need to take a step back. And that is what we did. And I love that you just kind of went with what I was saying and was like, okay, I trust you. We're going to make this work. And I've posted you on my Instagram now a few times on just like your transformations and stuff and how you really wanted to lose weight in the beginning and I said no to you. And that is forthcoming. We're still going into that phase in probably closer than not. I mean, I know I told you like it's going to take a while for you to really heal your hormones. And again, you put that trust in me and we're still working towards that deficit phase, but I think that it's imperative. Like the biggest part for you seeing as much results as you have is just trusting the process and going with it and not trying to fight that because as you've seen, like your PMS is so much less now. You're able to get out of bed and you're able to have more energy and not feel this burden that you felt with your PMS beforehand. And so just by committing to the process and playing this long game that we've been playing this for now a year, you're able to see those results that you have seen. So that's a really, really awesome point to point out as well. Um, but I want to ask, kind of going along with this question, this previous question, but again, so you've gone through this whole year, you've just kind of talked about the results that you have been seeing. How do you feel like, or how has been going through your journey so far over this past year with me helped you? Like with me being alongside you, how do you feel like I have affected you in your journey?
I feel like it's more so the contact I have with you. When I was seeing like the other holistic doctor and like the dietitian, it was kind of like here's your plan, like follow this, change this. It wasn't like so much detailed like your plan is. And then it was more so like, okay, I'll talk to you in a month or two. And then yours is like the weekly, I'm sorry, the monthly like phone calls and the weekly check-ins. And it's like if I need to reach out to you if I'm not feeling good or if I have a question, like you get back to me within like a day or so. So I feel like it's more so like that connection. And also, like you said, like I feel like you're my friend. Like I could reach out to you and talk to you. And even like when I'm having like my down days, like I can just vent to you. And I felt like when I had like started like having like my severe PMS, like I was constantly like reaching out to my friends and I just felt like they didn't understand, like they weren't getting it because they weren't going through it. So when I like have you there, like you know how to walk me through, like you navigate my days, you like help me, like you ask me questions, you help me navigate through how I'm feeling so I'm not feeling like this for like months until I talk to you again. So it's more so like just having you there.
Yeah, and that's one thing again that I try to reiterate often is use me as much as you need me. That is one of my favorite parts about being an online coach. And I know it's not the same for everybody, but for me, it's super important for me to be in contact with you. If I'm not in contact with you, I also on my end feel like I don't know what's going on with you. And I don't like not knowing what's going on with you because the more that I know what's going on with you, the more I could say, okay, this is the route we need to go. This is what we need to do this week, and like give you different targets. And so I appreciate you noting that because that is something that is very important to me as a coach is not being that person that says, here is your plan,
Mhm.
good luck with that and sending you on your way for a month because so many things can change and happen within that month time frame, and it's important for us to keep communicating. And that's like literally, was that last night? Was that last night, yes, that you were like, hey, I'm not feeling great, can we talk a little bit earlier tomorrow? And we got on a call this morning
Yeah.
because I was like, you know
Mhm.
what's going on, like let's talk about it. And that's what I love to do with my clients is walk through situations. One of the biggest things I feel like with seeing improvements and making progress is problem solving a problem that you have.
Mhm.
And so if you just have that problem and you don't know what to do, like you said, you can continue feeling that way for a long time, weeks, months. Instead, if we get to the root cause, if we are like, okay, this is the problem that I'm facing, this is how I'm feeling, what can I do with that? You're able to negate that problem and solve that so you don't feel that way. And that's kind of like what happened just today, for example. We talked through what we needed to do, we came up with a game plan, and now we have some tangible things that we're going to work on to help you with the current situation that you're dealing with. And so that is definitely something that is super important to have. So anybody listening who has a coach that it's like, here's a plan and send you on your way. It might be a red flag, just throwing that out
Yeah.
there. But yeah, so definitely communicating is a huge part of a coaching relationship. It shouldn't just be a one-way thing. It should be two-way between a client and a coach. So I'm again appreciative of that. And I do hope that you feel like this is a safe space and you can talk to me
Oh,
about
yeah.
things. That is my ultimate goal is to make my clients feel safe, that they can talk to me about whatever they feel comfortable and wanting to talk about for sure. So, alrighty, moving past that, I I want to ask because I don't actually know if I've ever asked you this question before. I might have, but when I was talking to you before you joined, we were talking for a decent amount of time before you joined.
Yeah.
Were you feeling nervous or afraid to join at all? Was there anything that was like, I shouldn't do this? Like, were you having mixed emotions or was it something that you just knew?
I was, but it wasn't so much because of you. It was more so like I think before you reached out, I was trying to like change my diet and work out. It had been like 2 years, I believe. And so I was trying like, you know, different diets. I would follow like influencers on Instagram and like try their diet or try their workout or like the holistic doctor too. Like she would give me my plan and like it wasn't working for me. So I feel like okay, like I'm gonna step into another program. And like it was more so like, am I gonna be able to do it? Like, like, is it gonna work this time? Like, so it was those kind of doubts. It wasn't you. I honestly think the reason why I signed up was because you were so like interested like in like what I'm going through and how I'm feeling and like my life and my workouts and like my health. So I think like once you started asking those questions and like I was giving you like the answers, I think like something like clicked in my head, like, I think I need to try her because it's more detailed than like just following a program and then seeing you in a month or so, or like, oh, what's next? What's like the next phase? And then obviously like when I did sign up and then I had like that in like that very, very detailed like the form you send us to like ask all those questions before like we commit. I don't know, I just felt like it was right for me.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, it can be a little nerve-wracking for multiple reasons. One of the reasons being a little bit of that self-doubt. And I definitely understand that because I've invested in a mentor in coaching before, and I understand that like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Is this right for me? Am I going to succeed in this? What happens if I don't? All these kind of thoughts and questions circulate your head, and sometimes you do just have to say, I'm gonna give it a go and see what happens. And here we are a year later, still going at it. So, sometimes it is just a leap of faith that you have to take within yourself and
Mhm,
saying, like, okay, I'm gonna do this and we're just gonna go for it and commit to it. And so that kind of segues into the next question I have for you a little bit, which was, and I don't know what you had expected from my coaching, but you're saying, you've tried other things before and you just were kind of having some self-doubt. So, based on your early expectations before joining, was or is my coaching what you expected it to be?
no, um, not at all, because I feel like most coaches or like even influencers on Instagram, like when they give you the program, it's just like written and like you just have to like follow it. And I think what I really like about your program is, like I'm able to follow my workouts on my Apple Watch. Um, and you don't give me, like, a detailed meal plan. It's kinda like it's on me to figure out what I'm eating, which I really like because I've tried different, like, meal plans from other people, and it's like, "Yeah, I enjoyed it," but would I prefer to eat something else? Absolutely. So, like, just having, like, your knowledge of kinda like the balance. Again, never thought I would have balance in my life, but just having that, like, balance and, like, having, like, the free meals, like, I never had a coach that was like, "Yeah, go out and eat, like, what you want," but, like, again, like, I don't know, there's just so many things, like, I could talk about your program that I've learned, but yeah.
Yeah. I th That's one of the point that you just mentioned is one of the main reasons why I don't love giving meal plans. And of course, I have given meal plans for people who are like, no, this is how I operate. And everybody's different. Every client is different. So you learn about your clients and what they need, what they would do better with. And some clients are like, can you give me a meal plan? I'm like, sure.
Mhm,
But that is one reason why I don't love giving them. And I think a lot of people think that it's going to be great because they're like, just tell me what to eat. That's awesome. But you
mhm,
are kind of limiting that. And even with meal plans, even if I'm like, this is just an outline, you can swap out X protein for another protein, odds are people won't do that. So, number one reason why I don't love meal plans is that rigidness that you get with it, that people might not enjoy the things that you are suggesting for them. And the second reason is because, again, I am like a problem solving focused coach. If I just tell you what to eat, what happens when you're done working with me, right? I want you to learn how to eat without me telling you what to eat so that when you're done with this, you know how to eat and you don't need to you don't need somebody else to tell you how to eat. And I think that is what you've learned really well because, like you just said, like you've accomplish this balance with, yeah, I'm telling you to go out to dinner and have food that you want to have, but you also know that your body thrives when you meal prep and when you
mhm,
eat good things throughout the week. You know that. You've said that to me a million times, but you
mhm,
also do enjoy those free times where you don't have to stress about it. And that is the thing that I want to help teach clients is that it doesn't have to be so rigid. It doesn't have to be me giving you a meal plan. It's about what does your body thrive off of? What does your body need nutritionally to help it function as best as possible? But also, what else comes with health, which is pleasure and socializing and doing all the things that people want to be doing that they think they can't do. And that's
mhm.
why I teach, that balance piece of this and not giving meal plans so you can learn how to eat. But I'm glad it was not what you expected. I'm glad that it was a little bit better than what you had thought it was going to be when you started. So
Actually better.
I love that. I love that for you. And I'm glad to hear that. I'm very happy about that. So again, kind of a long that question that I just asked. Again, you had mentioned how many coaches you've been to in the past, and trainers and holistic doctors and dietitians and gynecologists. How would you say my coaching differs from all the other coaches that you personally have experienced in the past?
I would say you have a lot of knowledge and like I could tell like you're really passionate about it. I think you like sit here and like we dive into what's going on with me instead of just like this is what it is. Like no, like they don't give me any like explanation. If I have questions, it's kind of like it is what it is. And then like just with your coaching, like I said, it's super detailed. You care a lot. And I think that's just why like I've stuck around so much. And you're not scared to tell me like, no, we're not working on that right now. Like for instance, like I've been with you for a year and I haven't lost weight. And like obviously like there's other things like we're focusing on, which I have huge improvements. Like I've never had a coach to like give me lifestyle changes like you either. It's just focus on like just diet and you work out, do what workouts you like to do. So like with your program, I don't know, I gain a lot more from it. There's more than just one or two portions of my life. It's like my whole life that's involved in your program.
Yeah. And again, like I've had my fair share of coaches as well. And I've had some really great coaches and some not so great coaches as well. And I think you learn to what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Mhm.
But as a coach and as I was building out this program, I kind of thought, what have I experienced in the past? What would annoy me with coaching? What would be really great to have in coaching? And that's kind of been like the foundation of this program and how I built it. And it's definitely evolved over the years. It's actually funny. So as we know, like we're switching platforms right now, and I'm like going back to some of my very first like form videos in the first app that we used. And I'm literally sitting here laughing. I'm like, oh God, I need to redo all of these things because just I've evolved so much over the years. It's really funny to watch some old things that I did. But it is something that I want people to come into this and think I have everything that I need right here. Not just here's your diet plan or not just do this workout because I want you to. I want it to be the workouts and the nutrition and the talks together that go deeper and explain why you're doing what you're doing and all the other things that make it part of a lifestyle because I mean, I guess that's why I call myself a lifestyle coach because I do truly want it to be a lifestyle for people, but people aren't going to make it a lifestyle if they don't feel like what they're doing is something that they can sustain, something that they enjoy doing, and it's missing pieces. It's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that go into a healthy lifestyle. And so yeah, definitely try to cover all the bases with that in this. Um, and we'll we'll end it with one more question that I have. And that is, was this or is still currently, is this coaching experience worth it to you? And why would you say yes or no?
Yeah, definitely worth it. For the reason of it's not a fit. Oh my God, it's not a quick fix. It's more like, for instance, when I went to like the personal trainers before, it's kind of like, yeah, you're gonna lose like 5 to 10 pounds in 1 month, but it wasn't like sustainable for me. Didn't enjoy it. I was eating like really, really low calories. And for you, it's kind of like there's changes and challenges every week that I face with you. We hit different goals each week, so it's not stagnant. it's exciting every week, and it's exciting to see, like, the different progress each week, and then, like, telling you my progress and, like, you hyping me up and, like, all your clients. And then it's like, "Okay, like, next week, we're gonna focus on this." So I definitely think your program is totally worth it. It is definitely, like, a lifestyle. It's not just a quick fix. So I
Yeah.
really, really enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely
Yeah.
not a quick fix. If anybody ever came to me and was like, this is my goal and this is all I care about, like for example, if somebody like you came in and you were like, I want to lose weight and I don't, not that you said I don't care about anything else, but if somebody came to me and was like, I want to like lose weight and look a certain way and that's it, like I really don't care about anything else, I would probably say no to you. Like you said, like I'm not afraid to do that to people because
Yeah.
I know that if you're coming in for that quick fix that I want to lose X amount of weight in X amount of time and that's all I want to do, odds are I'd see you again at some point, you coming back and saying,
Mhm.
okay, I need more help because you're not doing the work to make it last and be this lifestyle. So yeah, definitely anybody listening who wants a quick fix, I'm not the person for you. Don't try. But I feel like we covered a lot. Thank you for sharing your story and where you started, where you are now, and the experience that you have had with me thus far. I'm very excited to continue working together and go through a fat loss phase and go through the things that you're really desiring after really healing what has been going on with you. So, cheers to new adventures coming up. But again, thank you for sharing your story and just coming on and explaining everything. Is there anything that we missed that you want to talk about or mention or anything at all?
No, I just wanna say, like, just anybody listening to this, if they're hesitant, like, with joining your program, I think it's totally worth it and they will not regret it. And I just know every time you get like new clients and you put them on like the SMS thread, I'm like, you did like the best thing you could ever do for yourself. It's just like signing up with you.
That was very nice. That's so, you're gonna make me cry. Um, thank you. I appreciate that
Yeah.
very much. We'll end it on that note before I do actually cry on this. But again, thank you so much for joining and giving your story and just letting us know what it's like to work with me. And that's really it for this episode. If you guys have any questions, as always, my DMs are open. Feel free to reach out with anything that you have, but I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. If you love the episode, share the podcast and tag me, and subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. Thanks for being a part of the club. See you next time.